3 for Youngstown State and Marshall in the Division I AA championship game. In 1991, Marshall led by 11 in the fourth quarter, only to watch the title slip away. Youngstown State scored 19 points in the final stanza and survived a last-second Marshall scoring chance to win the national championship. But that was only the beginning. Last year, the Thundering Herd and Penguins locked up in a battle for the ages. Again, the Herd thundered to a big lead. Led by quarterback Michael Payton, Marshall led 28-0 in the second half. And again, YSU responded. Tamron Smith's third TD tied the game at 28. Then at nail-biting time, all eyes were on the foot of Willie Merrick, who had never kicked a collegiate field goal until it mattered most. Two memorable games. Both teams have experienced sports' ultimate high and its lowest low. Today, they meet again for Game 3. Jim Tressel, already in the words of most of the people we spoke to in the Youngstown State Traveling Party, the most popular man in Youngstown, Ohio, will only add to his reputation as he brings another national championship back to Youngstown. This will be the last snap. The rubber match goes to the Youngstown State Penguins and Jim Tressel as they make it 2 out of 3 in the 1AA national championship game over the last 3 years against Marshall. We'll be back with the presentation from Huntington, West Virginia, right after this. Welcome back to Huntington, West Virginia, where Youngstown State has won the Division I AA Football National Championship 17-5 over Marshall. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Sean, I'm right now joined by Chuck Boone. He is the Director of Athletics at the University of Richmond. He is also the chair for the NCAA Division 1A Championship. And you have a presentation, Chuck.
Coach Tressel, on behalf of the NCAA, I'm pleased to present you this national championship trophy. What a great year, what a great season, great championship game. You're a class act.
Thank you, Chuck. On behalf of everyone back in Y-Town watching, just shows you when you get some great people together that love each other, good things happen. Thanks so much for this.
Jim, tell us a little bit about the first quarter. You scored all your points basically on 3 plays.
Well, I'll tell you what, those guys came out of the gate, and Tam had a nice play to start with, and then Darnell hit the home run, and the teams came up. Play.
Jim, to win this thing 2 out of 3 and to come back and not let them repeat, it's got to be a special moment.
It really is. It's hard to believe. Right. Proud kids. We've got great kids and a great institution, and thanks CBS, thanks NCAA. We love it.
Jim, congratulations. Let's go back upstairs to Sean McDonough.
I think Chuck Boone hit the nail right on the head. Jim Tressel is one class act. They're very proud of him in Youngstown, and as you can see, he has a great deal of affection for that community. 17-5 the final. We'll join Greg Gumbel and Terry Bradshaw right after this.
Would you consider me for the Heisman?
Alcorn, 1st and 10. McNair back to pass, looking over the middle. He's got Timmy McNair into the end zone, and Alcorn State has scored again.
All you got to do is look at the numbers.
McNair dropping back. He's got some time. He airs one out. Marcus hit. Touchdown! touchdown! A whirling dervish. Look at McNair. Obey tacklers. Spinning. Nobody's going to catch him.
Vote for McNair.
If you long for the days of a college football playoff system, you've come to the right place. Welcome, my friends, to Division 1AA, where the football is just fine, thank you, and they determine a national champion on the field. And today we're on the field of Youngstown State University, midway between the cities of Pittsburgh and Cleveland, where the undefeated, defending national champions of Division 1AA, the Penguins of Youngstown State, get set to meet the interlopers from the state of Mississippi, the Braves of Alcorn State University. And a pleasant good day to you, everyone. Welcome to Sun-Spangled Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown. I'm Tom Mees. Game number 1 of the Division 1AA playoffs. Hey, Youngstown State has tradition. They've been in the playoffs 10 times. They've been to the 1AA title game 3 years in a row. They won the title 2 of the last 3 years, and yet they're second fiddle in the publicity department. Why? Because the Braves of Alcorn State have the biggest story in this game. He is number 9, Steve McNair, the 1AA wonderkind, vying for the Heisman Trophy. Last week against the Jackson, taking the snap, and that'll do it. The clock winds down. Jim Tressel's Youngstown State Penguins trot off with a 63-20 victory, vanquishing Steve McNair's Alcorn State Braves. Congratulations to McNair on a great career, but kudos to Youngstown State for a great performance today. For Mike Mayock, I'm Tom Mees. Hope you enjoyed this 1AA playoff game. Now back to Chris Fowler.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Next stop for McNair, the Senior Bowl. That's where he'll play his postseason football. In the meantime, a stop at the Downtown Athletic.
Northeast Ohio.
Very popular, maybe.
Surprised they wanted to run for president. They were afraid of losing him as the football coach. And that's it. They won't have to snap it again. The Youngstown State Penguins, the first team in the history of the Division 1AA playoffs to win 3 national titles in a 4-year span. Congratulations to Coach Jim Tressel and the Penguins of Youngstown State University. We'll return to Huntington, West Virginia for the presentation of the championship trophy in just a moment.
Girls.
Youngstown State has won its 3rd national championship. 28-14 the final score over Boise State. Somewhere in the middle of the madness down on the field is Dave Logan, and we'll be going to him for the championship trophy presentation in just a moment. Dave's ready now. Take it away, Dave.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'm joined now by Chuck Boone, the chairman of the Division 1AA. Chuck, you've got a presentation you'd like to make to Coach Tressel.
Well, it's a great pleasure for me, representing the NCAA and the 1AA football committee, to present Coach Tressel with a 1994 championship trophy. He's had his team in the championship for 4 consecutive years. They won it 3 of the last 4, and that's a credit to you and your fine institution, your coaching staff, your student athletes, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chuck. Thanks so much. You know, I tell you what, it's unbelievable. Our coaching staff is the best in the country. Our kids are unbelievable. Our seniors led us through a heck of a thing. And everyone back home in Youngstown, once more time, this one's for you.
You know, Coach, I tell you what, they gave you a little bit of a scare there earlier, but the best team prevailed in the end. What was the key as you got down the stretch, as you pulled away?
Well, you know, I think that the maturity that our guys show. I mean, our captains and our seniors are unbelievable. They're poised, their confidence, they're unbelievable. Our coaches, they hang in there. Our crowd never stopped. People back home sending us vibes, the whole thing.
Now, you won it in 91. You come back last year in 93. You repeat again in 94. What do you do for an encore? I mean, can you keep this thing going?
Well, we passed the mic to these guys, because these guys are the ones that did it here. Let's do it.
We'll come back and talk to these gentlemen maybe in a minute. Sean, back to you.
Congratulations to
Thank you, Dave.
Broncos of YSU State University for an outstanding football season.
Once again, the final score of the Division I AA National Football Championship game. Youngstown State 28, Boise State 14. Now let's join Andrea Joyce in New York.
All right, Sean, thanks. Third national title in 4 years, but it doesn't look like it's getting old for those guys. And a reminder that coming up next here on CBS Sports.
Anymore, so I give my teammates all the credit.
Were you surprised at the outcome of the game? I mean, they came out in the first half. They played you guys very tough, but you made some adjustments at halftime. What did you talk about at halftime?
Well, we just said that we got to eliminate the mistakes, that we could score points if we would just eliminate the turnovers and just keep going and doing what we're doing. I'm not surprised. They're a great team, but our lines played hard. Our line just blew them off the ball today, and it's great.
You got a machine cranking up right now. Last year you brought it here, 91. You come back in 94. Do they get any sweeter than this? How do you compare the victories?
You know, repeat is the best, and I attribute that to Coach Tressel and the coaching staff. They prepared us for this, and they got a great thing going, and we're just going to keep it rolling.
What about Coach Tressel? What has he meant to the city of Youngstown, to the university, to yourself?
I think he's meant so much because he's the hardest working guy there is, and he stands for something that's good, and the community knows that. And you know, he got this team going in the right direction. We believe in him, and that's what it takes. And so it's going good.
All right, well, I tell you what are you guys going to do to celebrate this evening? You got a short trip back, but what's in store?
We're going back to Youngstown, and they'll have a greeting committee there for us, and we'll celebrate.
All right, well, congratulations. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Okay, thank you.
Youngstown State. Sean.
The Penguins certainly could not be stopped this season. They finished the year with a school record 14 wins and only 1 tie. Had a very close call in the second round of the playoffs against Eastern Kentucky. They had a drive in the final moments of 80 yards engineered by Brungard to beat Eastern Kentucky, but the rest of the way through the playoffs they weren't seriously challenged, and from the early part of the second quarter today they were in control of the game. Now for Steve Davis and Dave Logan, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Marshall University Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia. The final score of today's game, Youngstown State 28 and Boise State 14. Coming up next, CBS Sports presents the RCA Player of the Year preview show, followed by NCAA basketball.
Again, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go to Dwayne Stats in Tampa, Florida.
His first team.
Blake Breach intercepted by Jeff Fackrell at the 34. Youngstown State takes advantage of the turnover. Damon Tidwell, Bernard Ray, 9-yard TD. They're up 10-9. Youngstown State, and they celebrate as they win the 1AA National Championship. The final score, it was a defensive struggle, 10-9. Got ahead of myself. Now.
Championship game, Youngstown State, the Penguins, against Georgia Southern. The Eagles and the Penguins both at 12-2. Jim Tressel comes in his 14th season. This is his 6th trip to the championship game. He's won 4 of 5. Paul Johnson in his 3rd season at Georgia Southern. Last year they played UMass for this championship and lost. They have been waiting for this day for a long time. Youngstown State, the team of the 90s. 4 championships in the 90s. Georgia Southern, 4 championships. 3 of those in the 80s. And we are underway. Benny Cunningham.
Our offensive line, I mean, you know, our wide receivers don't get much credit. They blocked their tail off today. It's just a great win for the program.
They talk about the playoff system, 1AA. This is the most exciting game, a championship game. How do you feel about the playoff system?
Well, I love them this year. It's, you know, at least you get a clear-cut national champion.
Coach, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Don. And Adrian Peterson is at the top of the world of 1AA football. Rod, he answered all the questions I had today.
Yeah, well, they're all gone. No question about that. The other thing I think you have to give credit to is the Georgia Southern defense. They were really getting rocked early on. They settled down in the second quarter and really shut down Youngstown State. And that, to me, was a turning point in the ball game. When they started asserting themselves, then the offense kicked in, and Georgia Southern took control of the ball game, Rich.
Youngstown State, certainly a season that they can be proud of. They finish at 12 12-3, and Jim Tressel's bunch with a gutty effort, not only in the regular season, but 2 come-from-behind wins in the playoffs to get to a national championship.
Yeah, they ran out of the magic here today, and then they ran into an offense that you said was just so hot. Every time they tried to make an adjustment to stop Georgia Southern, there was an answer. There was another option. It was the dive. It was the pitch. It was the quarterback. They had something they could go to that would just take Youngstown State right out of it.
And there's your answer from the Southern Conference, as they'll get a championship for Georgia Southern, who finish at 13-2. We'll take a timeout. Championship time in Chattanooga. Georgia Southern 59-24.